Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
What's up, everyone? We're back in the saddle for episode 481 of the Massenomics podcast. Just when you thought you might get rid of us, nope, we're back for the 481st time. The numbers are getting so high, they don't even make any sense when I start to think about that in my head.
Just made up numbers at this point.
If we keep going at this pace, eventually we're going to make it to 482.
Wouldn't put it past us.
This week's, my name's Tanner, by the way.
My name's Tommy, by the way.
Yeah. This week's episode is brought to you by our friends at Build Fast Formula. BuildFastFormula.com. Level up your life and innovate with clinically dosed and research-backed supplements that just plain and simple work. We know them, we trust them, we use them because we trust them, and we trust them because we use them. You can check them out. What they got to offer, their formulas at BuildFastFormula.com. I've got Vaso Blitz and Full Blitz. Vaso Blitz is the nitric oxide, non-caffeinated pre-workout. Full Blitz is the fully loaded, fully caffeinated pre-workout. Little inside Massenomics hack. You take a scoop of each. That way you get a moderate level of caffeine, but a full dosage of all the other important ingredients in there.
Say a full blitz of the other.
Yeah, a full blitz. And discount code Massenomics saves you 10% on everything you order from Build Fast Formula. So go get over there and use our discount code.
All right. This episode also brought to you by Barefoot Shoes. Now, Tanner, I don't know if you've seen this, if you've heard about this.
Yeah, what are you?
But
I wondered if
they
you were
have
going to come.
they released a new product called the Ozo. Not the Oso, but the Ozo. And the Ozo redefines barefoot footwear by combining natural foot freedom with premium materials and refined aesthetics. It's like the Oso, which is their slip-on shoe, but it's crafted from full-grain mestizo leather and delivers a more elevated look and feel than the original Oso, making it ideal for barefoot shoes. Are the ideal barefoot shoe for business casual settings, professional environments, and formal occasions. That's right. It's good to go anywhere that you can think of. Like all barefoot footwear, the Ozo maintains their signature zero-drop sole, wide toe box, and flexible, minimalist design, ensuring your feet move the way nature intended. And right now, this color, they call it noir. It's a black leather, and it's pretty classy looking. It's got that classic Oso look, but just, it's got that fine leather upper. So definitely worth checking out if you haven't been paying attention to what Barefoot's been up to. This is a new model in the lineup, and they don't add a new model to the lineup very often. So head on over to barefoot.store, check it out. And while you're there, use code Massenomics, and you can save 10% on your next order. Barefoot.store, code Massenomics will save you 10%. Thank you, Barefoot Shoes.
One other bit of breaking news from one of the head bears himself. They just restocked Black Canvas Gen 2 Ursus and Black Suede Gen 1 Ursus. So the Canvas Gen 2 and the Black Suede Gen 1 Ursus, both of them freshly restocked.
We're talking all-time classics here.
Yes. Yeah. So if you've been waiting on either of those, the time is nigh.
I'm glad you put that little accent on there. Check
Episode 481. We got a lot of good stuff this week. Our title topic is going to roughly be, will digital resistance take over? Something like that. It's a work in progress.
Yes.
But before we get to that, Tommy, what do you got? Something you're drinking over there this week?
Oh, did you just want to see my drink spotter chill? Is that what it was?
Twinning.
Yeah.
The newest drink spotter in the Massenomics drink spotter. Do you know what's beyond a trilogy?
Oh, quad. The quad.
What's after a trilogy? It is, You guessed it, a tetralogy.
Oh, it rolls off the
Of course, a tetralogy. I guess there's a reason that nobody ever says that.
No.
Isn't
That's why
that
they
weird
moved to
though?
prequels.
But why is there so many trilogy is so in the common zeitgeist, and it's like you could name all kinds of trilogies, and then have you ever heard someone say tetralogy before?
Actually, never.
So like there's never been 4 of something.
Well,
Everyone
there
just
has,
stopped
but
at
they just call it the 4th at that point. The 4th
right,
one.
But why?
Because tetralogy, just say the word. I think it's self-explanatory.
Yeah. But if you'd never heard trilogy before, you probably would say that sounds dumb too.
I'd say the number of syllables being less makes it a little easier.
Yeah. Trilogy, tetralogy. Yeah. Well, I think we're just a couple of guys to bring it into popular culture.
Yeah, I think so.
You guys, actually, can you cut that out and let's just start talking about tetralogies like everyone knows, like, of course it's a tetralogy.
Yeah, it's the tetralogy, obviously.
Yeah, it's the tetralogy. I mean, it's like, of course this is. Everyone knows about that, right? And
is
that way the people listening will be like, God, what am I, the dumbass that doesn't know about
tetralogy? Is that like virtual reality? Like, what's going on here?
So what are you drinking over there?
I had watermelon lime, Good and Gather. Always a classic.
I'm having a Spindrift. Like Chad Wesley Smith taught me, you can't beat a Spindrift.
I saw someone drinking a Spindrift the other day, and because I never buy those, and I had to think for a second. I thought, is there alcohol in those? I can't even remember for sure. There's so many different, and I know there's not, but I actually had to just give it a second thought because there's so many cans, so many things, and it gets hard to keep track of what actually has alcohol in it anymore.
There is 3 calories though.
Oh,
so I'm
okay.
bulking.
So they're cheating over there.
I'm
They
bulking.
got some extra spice adding that flavor in.
Yeah, this one's a lemon Spindrift, and some bitch is that a delicious beverage. Where do you put the opening when you're drinking out of a drink spot or chill? Where do you put the can opening?
You know, it's actually a good question because by default here, I had it to the side so that, when you're drinking it, everyone can see the logo.
Okay.
But, I mean, you could make an argument for turning it towards yourself so every time you drink, you can just stare at the logo yourself too.
That seems like the more natural position if I wasn't like purposely showing this off.
Yeah.
But I would put it like looking at the logo.
Yeah.
But
with the drink spotter chill, there's no wrong way to do it though.
No, that's true. The only wrong way is to not do it at all.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only wrong thing. Oh, I don't know if we want to do this first or not, but I got this really fun game for us to play here.
Maybe we should because you kind of been hyping this up for.
Well, I actually have 2 games, but we're going to do
2 games?
one. Don't click on this one that says ranking.
Yeah, I don't click on anything in here.
Okay, don't click on this one that says ranking because there's secret stuff in there. Maybe this week, this is actually the second game that I've come up with to add. The other one's older in here, but I'm more excited about this one now. So I think this one's
better get to it.
Gonna supersede. I'm gonna come up with 2 more games also, and then we can do a tetralogy of new games all at once.
Right.
But do you think you're game for this? I don't know what the name is. We got to come up with a name for what this game is.
Well, maybe when it's all said and done, we can.
Yeah.
land on
Okay.
something.
So what it is this is going to be a ranking list of home gym items, and there's going to be 10 items thrown at you from the list.
Okay.
And it's your job to rank each one through 10, but there's a catch.
Do I not get to know what the next one is?
It's
And I
a
have
blind. It's a blind ranking.
okay,
You have to
yep.
rank each. You have to put each one in its spot,
Yeah.
and then
So I don't rather just fire off one right out of the gate. I mean, it's a bold move to do that because you don't know what's coming up next.
Have you heard about this? Have you seen this before?
I have heard about this.
Have you heard about this?
I have seen these.
So it's a blind ranking of home gym items.
Okay.
We'll call it home gym essentials, and it's your job to rank them all 1 through 10. But whenever something, just to clarify for everyone playing along at home, once something's put in a spot, it's
stuck
locked in.
there. Yep.
There's no moving it once you hear the other items on the list.
Okay. Okay.
So 1 is going to be the best. 10 is going to be the worst. That's the way we're going to play.
Gotcha.
Do you feel comfortable with the rules on the game? Have you heard about this?
I guess I would feel comfortable with the rules. I'm not sure I feel comfortable with the game yet, but to be determined.
Yeah. All right. First one. Where do you put it? Your home gym necessities list, 1 through 10. First item, a single rusty 35-pound Olympic plate.
Okay, and should
So
I
this
be
is like you're
thinking-
building your home gym.
Okay,
almost.
like this is me. Should I be thinking of me personally, or just like the average home gym builder here?
I guess you personally.
Okay, me personally, a single rusty 35-pound plate. That's a 9 or a 10 for me. I mean,
Which one though?
God, there's probably something really dumb in here if that's what you're leading with. Okay, I'll go 9. You could potentially get some utility out of a single rusty 35.
That's true. You could do like trunk twists or things like that. that
You
people
could possibly
do
use it as even maybe like a deficit of some kind to stand on for deadlifts.
Yeah. Okay. Next item on the list. So that's at number 9. Number 9 is
you
off
writing
the
these
board.
numbers down so I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I got it here. 9 is off the board. Okay. Next item. A Bluetooth speaker that only plays Disturb Down with the Sickness on repeat. And you can't, and it's stuck at max volume.
It's stuck at max volume. I mean,
It's not a really good Bluetooth speaker though, so it's only so loud.
well, I would rather. I'm not even.
But in the alternative is you don't get music.
Yeah. I would rather just not have music than just to listen to Disturbed on. I wouldn't like any Bluetooth.
It's only
speaker.
Down with the Sickness. It's not a full album. Either.
Yeah. If any Bluetooth speaker was stuck on one song the entire time I worked out, I wouldn't want that Bluetooth speaker. So I am comfortable saying this is a 10 now. Like that would actively.
Oh, you're taking the 10.
That would actively annoy me to the point where I wouldn't want to work out if. I guess you didn't technically say I had to use the Bluetooth speaker, but.
That's true.
At that point, it's essentially useless because I'm not going to use it. So it actually would be useless. And for that matter, I would do that to almost anything that's stuck.
You're leading off with 9 and 10 off the
Yeah.
board. What if what if these
It
are the
just
best
keeps
two
getting
things
well.
on the
That's
list?
the thing. You might have trapped me here. But also, like to pick a broken Bluetooth speaker that's stuck on repeat and be like, oh, that's a number 4. It's like that's grossly overrating something like that. So I'm gonna go 10 and just hope for the best here. But I might be regretting these words later.
Big Cam said use the 35 to break the speaker.
9 and 10 taken care of.
All right, let's see if we just keep going up the list here. But next choice, a 1 Beyond Power Voltra.
I mean, top 5 for sure. But okay. I was waiting for a catch like 1 Beyond Power Voltra, but it's broken. And I'm like, but I already used the 10. This doesn't do anything. I'm probably
This is our fourth or third item.
yeah. I want to say like number 4 because I'm just hoping in this list you're gonna have like actual weights, like components of an actual. I mean, I don't know. You might not.
There
have,
are going to be some real components of a real gym, but I would say you're probably not going to build a complete gym from this list. But there are some actual
All right,
components.
yeah, I'm just
of a real
hoping that
gym.
there's some like
not all just completely stupid shit.
okay, yeah.
Just
like things you would actually want in a
Yeah.
home gym. That which makes me think that like you're either gonna have like a rack or a barbell or plates, and all 3 of those I would pick over a Voltra. You probably don't have all 3 of those in, but I mean you also hope you have horse stall mats or some flooring in here somewhere. So I'm gonna put the Beyond Power Voltra at number 4 in the home gym build.
4. I like the logic on the placing. That's intelligent. Next one, our 4th choice. You guessed it. There is flooring available for you to select. And the choice is thin foam puzzle piece flooring.
Really? That's my flooring I get? God. I mean, that is actually useless.
But it's maybe not as detrimental as the Bluetooth speaker
Yeah.
playing only.
I guess it provides some protection, but I don't you don't want to use that though. So I guess I'll go 8 there. I'll go 8 there.
Okay. All right.
I guess
the low
like,
spots are really getting
you could
used
stack
up here
some
fast.
you could stack some up to protect the weights from the floor.
Yep.
So not totally
Okay.
useless, but not ideal.
All right, thin foam puzzle piece flooring at number 8. All right, next one, a 465-pound Strength Co plate set.
Okay. I mean, this is top 3 for sure. But question is, though, if I just think of the essentials, I said the essentials being a rack, barbell, plates, weights. That's 4 items. I'm assuming you're not going to give me all 4. I just got to leave a little room. I'm going to say 3. I'm going to say number 3 here.
There's number 3.
I don't even know what 1 and 2 would be, but I just got to give myself room here. I got to give myself room.
So you've now ranked half the list. Spots available on the board are 1, 2, 5, 6, and 7.
Yep. Okay.
1, 2, 5, 6, and 7. Next on the list, Donnie Thompson hiding in your closet whispering cues to you.
Do I have to
He's just always
do I have
there.
to, like,
you don't
tend
do
to him
anything
and
with
feed
him
him and
outside.
care for
No,
him?
not really.
He's
You don't.
just-
The logistics aren't your problem.
He's just like a ghost that's there.
Yeah.
I'll say that's a number 5. That could probably be pretty helpful.
Yeah. It's odd.
He knows a
but
thing or
could
two
be.
about a thing or two.
Yeah.
Low maintenance too.
All right. 1 pair of 22-pound concrete-filled 1-inch standard weights from the 90s.
Okay. God. What's the lowest number I have left?
7.
That's a 7. Just the 1 inch makes
yeah.
it very, very.
You know what did I describe those well enough? In
Yeah,
words
I
that you know what I'm talking
1
about.
inch,
The gray
22-pound cement plates.
the
from the 90s.
cement, the plastic cement-filled plates.
Yeah, that's not saying they're totally useless, but the applications are somewhat limited.
Yeah. Okay, 3 spots left. 1, 2, and 6. Hopefully there's something good left on the list. A 29 millimeter Texas power bar in black zinc.
Oh, that's a classic item. The question is this 1 or 2? 1 or 2? I mean, I couldn't fault someone for putting this at 1, but there could be something really good left still. I could
could be
also
something
be really
really
rolling the dice here. But you know what? I'm feeling kind of risky tonight. We'll go 2.
Really leaving yourself up for that number 1 spot. Okay, 1 and 6 are what's left.
God, we got a real upper and a not so much.
Yeah, second to last choice here. 7-foot ceilings. 7-foot tall ceilings in your home gym.
That's definitely not a number 1 component. So I might just be backed into a corner here. That's what'd you say? I have 6, 1 and 6.
And 1 and 6.
I'll go 6. Let's see here.
Okay.
We got number 1 on the list.
So there's only 1 spot remaining on your list. Last choice to decide where you want to put it, although it's not much of a choice. Last one is a gym cat.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't say number 1, but I probably actually wouldn't say top 5 even. I don't have a problem with cats. I'm just not a cat guy, but I can live with a gym cat at number 1 on the gym list. That's not terrible.
So
Yeah,
to recap,
Matthias is right. It works out great for him.
yeah. So see, Matthias said that's a 10. Well, he really means it's a 1 though. Oh, for him maybe it is a 10 because he's always like climbing on him while he's trying to get things done.
It's so annoying. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So to recap your list, you have number 1, a gym cat. Number 2, a 29 millimeter Texas power bar in black zinc. Number 3, a 465-pound strength co-plate set. I mean, you got the best 2. Well, number 4, Beyond Power Voltra.
Yeah, those are.
So I'd say you got the best 3 things in the top 4.
Yeah, I think so for sure. Yeah,
So that's pretty good, actually.
it is.
You played that pretty well, outside of maybe leaving taking the risk on the very last one. But you got I'd say the top 3 things you got in the top 4 of the list.
I mean, there's a lot of people that'd be very happy with that. Big Keith would love that top 4.
Yeah, and actually, number 5, you have Donnie Thompson hiding in your closet whispering cues. That might
I
be
think
the
that's
next best thing on the list, actually. So I think you got 4 out of the 5. And you could even say that the cat is then maybe after Donnie and just like broadly looking at it. Number 6, 7-foot tall ceilings. Number 7, 1 pair of 22-pound concrete-filled 1-inch weights from the 90s. Number 8, thin foam puzzle piece flooring. Number 9, a single rusty 35-pound plate. And number 10, the Bluetooth speaker that only plays Disturbed Down with the Sickness on repeat, stuck at max volume. That might be your true number 10.
Looking back at that list, I don't have a whole lot of regrets on it outside of, in a perfect world, I wouldn't put the cat at number 1, but outside of that, nothing is off by like 5 places, which could have easily happened. That list worked pretty well, actually.
You might have pretty much nailed it for the most part.
I can live with that. I can live with that list.
That's pretty good. I was expecting it to be a little more. You'd be less successful at
after
that
the first
ranking.
2, I was getting really afraid that I just stepped on a landmine here and I was just gonna be in trouble. But
yeah, I mean I could have been really tricky, and everything just gets increasingly more terrible.
well, that's what I was thinking. I was
not-
walking into here.
That's just a prank at that point.
Yeah,
Like it's.
yeah.
I
That's
think
not
there
a
has to be
game.
a mix. Yeah, I think there has to be a mix of good and bad in there, and that's pretty good. Well, you passed. It looks like.
Yeah.
Excellent. Home gym con.
It's crazy. In my mind, it's just always 2 weeks away. It's felt like that for like a month that it's 2 weeks away.
Yes.
But as of the time people are hearing this, you will be there this week sometime,
End of this week. Yeah.
which is wild
Friday.
to think about.
Yeah, I'll get there Friday early afternoon. I think like right around noon, maybe even on Friday, something like that. Somehow I'll get there then.
And then
So,
what, leave Saturday afternoon? Is that what it was?
Yeah, leave back on Saturday afternoon. So it'll be a busy day recording on Friday. Friday evening, hanging out, whatever everyone's doing, we'll get in on it. And then Saturday, waking up and hitting it as soon as it starts recording again, pretty much until it's time to go to the airport. And then I'm going to go to the airport and hightail it back out of there to get back to western northeast South Dakota. So it's going to be it's going to be a barn burner.
It is. And you
In
have the
Louisville.
advantage of you get to fly local this time, not something you get to do very
Yeah,
often.
flying directly out of western northeast South Dakota. So hopefully there's no big flight delays. A big flight delay would just mean that the trip
trip's
is
done.
over. I'd be like, can I just catch the flight going back? Like if
Yeah,
like
there's
just
no
like turn me
chance
around the other way.
If that doesn't work, then yeah, the trip's just done.
Big Gary wants to know if Minnie is going to have wool in his hair.
I've been coaching him up on this, so yeah, there's a good chance he will.
I hope so. It wouldn't be quite the same if he didn't have wool in his hair.
No.
And for those that haven't heard it, I know I said it the last couple of weeks, but if you are a supporting member or you're wearing a piece of Massenomics merch, I will be passing out free Home Gym Nerd stickers. Just don't put them up around the building. They said they're going to fine us $100 for every Home Gym Nerd sticker that they find in Louisville.
The
Just
city of
kidding.
Louisville said that.
That's the Arnold bathroom sticker. We still have the real prank is when you show me that you're a supporting member or that you're wearing something Massenomics, I'm actually going to hand out Arnold bathroom stickers.
Yeah.
Should I bring these to plaster up in the bathroom in Louisville?
Arnold Bathroom's driver, like, what did we do?
The Arnold people are going to come out of the woodwork and
Yeah.
be like, "No, you're fined. We knew it.
We
Fined.
said no bathroom stickers.
That's it. You're fined." Anything else on Home Gym Con? Watch out for our content that's going to be coming
Yeah.
out from that, right?
Be a bunch of videos popping up. Other than that, I'm very jealous I won't be making it. I have to attend a family wedding, but I'll be there in spirit.
Yep. I guess maybe this seems obvious, but it's not because we do have to say it because a lot of times people don't do it. If you see me and you come up and say hi or like
Yeah.
there's an interaction, make sure to tell me that you listen to the podcast or watch the YouTube or something like that. Otherwise, I won't know
I
that.
just think you're just a person being friendly is all.
Right. And I'd rather connect with you on like you actually following along on stuff. That's much more fun and interesting to hear about what people, what content people are consuming. So do let me know if you're, if you're in the know, if you're in the crew, any of that stuff. Like if you're a supporting member, make sure to tell me you're a supporting member. That would
Yes.
also be helpful.
Yes. Or if you even listen to the podcast, just say that.
Right. All right. Do we want to do supporting our supporting members or anything else first?
Yeah, let's do that. And then we can look at a gym.
Okay. Maybe while I do supporting our supporting members, are you going to get your eyes on a certified training facility there?
Yes. Put my eyes on the prize.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to pull up here Supporting our supporting members is a relatively new segment to the podcast. You know, we haven't always been doing this. The supporting membership program is relatively new in the scheme of Massenomics, as far as like the total scheme of Massenomics is concerned. So if you haven't heard about it, it's the supporting membership program that we offer. You can sign up. Someone recently that was signing up wanted to ask me like what each different level means and gets you and stuff like that. Well, it's a little bit ambiguous sometimes. What I would say is there's a level for everyone. If you go to massenomics.com/join, you can check out all the membership options and see which one's right for you. I promise there's one there that's right for you. The only one that's wrong is not getting one at all. When you sign up for a supporting membership, you get a whole bunch of stuff. There's a discount code that only goes to supporting member. It's the only way you get in our Discord. It's the only way you can listen to our pre-show. That's the show before the show that's never recorded. So the only way you hear it is by listening along live. You can listen live to the regular show. We put out information about drops, early releases. That's pretty much the only way you can get signed up for our powerlifting or strongman competitions, because supporting members get first access to that. It gets you just involved in a community of like-minded individuals that enjoy having a good time. Probably the most important part is what we have coming up soon. There's going to be a line in the sand. We're getting closer to this line in the sand where if you're before the line in the sand, you're going to get this free mailer that we're sent mass mailing out to every supporting member if you join before that date. That date is coming soon this summer. We don't know the exact date yet. As we get even closer, we'll put out the exact date so you know the definitive line in the sand. But what I'd say now is if you get joined up at the time you're listening to this, you'll be safe. So get joined up now. Last thing you get on is supporting our supporting members. Like this week, Big Jessica Bittner, third place at IPF Worlds in the 84 kilogram female class. And I think also third place in the deadlift specifically. So big place podium finish at IPF Worlds. Nothing to shake a stick at there for supporting member. Big Ben competed in strength through adversity event, and he had several good lifts, including a 605-pound wagon wheel deadlift PR. There was a SoCal crew meetup, including Andrew, Mofo, Scar, Cody, and one of the Davids.
Saw that. I said, looks like trouble.
That looked like fun.
That's what I thought.
Wouldn't want to get mixed up in that crowd. There was a Rochester crew meetup, including Derek, Keith, Steph, Matt, Jess, Chris, and Dan. All of them big. What'd you say when you saw that?
I said, wish I was there. Wish I could have friends like that someday. People to hang out with.
I'd like to have those someday. Looks nice. Big Tyler and Big Peter both competed at Detroit Muscles Arm Lifting USA Super Series. I like the names of competitions when it's all like it's a super series and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I don't know what it means, but it sounds pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Big Mo hit a family PR with a new daughter-in-law. So tell your son, I suppose, congrats on the funeral.
Relay the message.
Yeah. Big Dan upgraded premeditated health and performance gym to his now 8,000 square foot facility.
Wow.
That is not a small facility.
That's some
also
room to work
certified
with.
training facility. Yeah. Big Evan, who thankfully logged on just in time here tonight, competed at Alberta Powerlifting Union Provincials and qualified for regionals in the process.
It sounds very Canadian, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
It's the most Canadian thing you've said all month.
Yes. And Big Jenny was this week's guest on Unpaid and Underrated. Go give it a listen. Find out more about crew and supporting members. People you can be friends with. That's it from this week's Supporting Our Supporting Members. Make sure to get signed up, though, to become a supporting member. Now would be the time. We got this gift coming up soon, and I'd be mortified if you decide not to get signed up in time for this. It would be, you will punish yourself for the rest of your life if you don't do this.
I couldn't imagine that feeling.
And I'll feel punished on your behalf if you don't do it, honestly. Okay. Did you find us a certified training facility?
I was clicking around a lot here, and there was one that kind of jumped out and caught my attention here. want you to head south, all the way south to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. There's a little gym called Legacy Strength and Fitness.
Is there a couple gyms right around?
There's
each
two stacked right on top of each other there.
other? Okay,
Both
got
good-looking
pictures
gyms.
Even. Yeah.
But this first one has 5 photos. Legacy Strength and Fitness.
Okay. Legacy Strength and Fitness. I want to notate this. Legacy. All right, what do you see there?
Okay, so first photo, probably the least exciting photo. Still not bad, but looks like a custom deadlift platform, I think, with like a rug with like a dragon and a barbell. I mean, cool. But what really caught my attention is when you go to photo number 2. Okay, you can start to get a look of the aesthetic here, and we have. First off, I think this is the first gym we've had with these hex lights in it. I don't think we've seen any of these yet.
Yeah.
And then they have, it looks like a blue. Actually, if I make this bigger, I can find out for sure. They have a blue, I think it's a rep rack, but let me see if I can zoom in here and get a better look at this thing. Looks like, or no, maybe that's a Rogue.
Here.
Maybe that's a Rogue.
Was that got the integrated cable stacks on them then?
Yeah, this might be the actual Rogue functional trainer.
Okay.
I don't know my functional trainers well enough to say. I think this might be the Rogue functional trainer.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know. I think it's either the Rogue or the Rep functional trainer. It's one of the two. I don't know them well enough. It looks really, really nice either way. And it's in blue. They got a matching blue bench to go with it. They got
What bench is that? A rep bench?
That's what I can't tell either. It doesn't quite look like mine, so maybe that is a Rogue one. But I thought the Rogue front was a little different. That's why I'm confused. I don't know for sure there.
He says it's a Rogue Bench 3.0.
Okay, that must be it then. Because I don't really know like what the man array is, and I'm like, it doesn't have that man array shaped front. So okay, so maybe it's a whole Rogue setup. I would think maybe if you have the Rogue bench,
Yeah, those are the Rogue mini feet off the front of that rack.
Okay, well there you go.
That.
You would know. So you got that. There's a drink spotter attached to the functional trainer here. So that piece looks great.
I see it there.
That piece looks great. We got some bumper plates hanging off the back of it too. Then there's a little stand that it looks like the rep-ins are down there. Do you see those?
Oh, yeah.
And then we have some wall control of the stainless look to it, or
some prime
silver
attachments there.
Some prime attachments. You can see the certified training facility certificate and flag in the upper corner. And to the side, there is a prime machine there. Do you see that, Tanner?
Yeah. Is it the leg curl?
That's what I'm trying to see, a different angle here now. Yeah, if you go to the last photo, that is the leg curl. Yes, you are correct.
Might adjust also to be the leg extension then, I guess, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know my prime
Did we
stuff
use that
well
one
enough.
at Jose's?
Is that? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes. It could bounce between the two, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got that. And then if you go back to the photos and look at number 3, you can see the deadlift platform. You got some bars on the wall. You got a TV. You have what looks like a there's a hack squat and then a leg press next to that. And
what are those?
Both very compact. I think I've seen these referenced before online because of how compact they are. But I cannot.
They really are space saving.
Yeah, they are. They're very low profile, but I cannot remember what the brand name is on those. And then if you look at photo number 4, you can see the full power rack. So yeah, he does have a functional trainer rack, and then a completely separate rack for lifting. We have a
this guy's not messing around.
No, he's got a. And also, I think this is rolled flooring right here, right?
This is Big Fat Pupper _MD is who we're dealing with here. Big Fat Pupper _MD. Yeah, rolled flooring.
Rolled flooring. We got these.
He's got that the non-adjustable Rogue bench like that we have in the gym.
Yeah, with the flat bench with the Thompson fat pad on it. Maybe. I mean, could be. I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
And then you got the 6-post
specialty
rack.
bars, all kinds of specialty bars in the back there.
Got the Rhino in the back too. So I can't tell. Is that that's a drop-in Rhino, I think, right?
The integrated Rhino.
Yeah, and then he's got I like that he's got those blocks to really elevate the right? Is that what those are? Just blocks to stand on top of when you're belt squatting to really work that range of motion. It's a
What
guy
are those
that knows
prime
his stuff right there.
attachments out of like the pull-up area on the rack.
Yeah, that's kind of unusual. You don't see that too often.
Yeah.
And then the overall aesthetic of the gym is really like the flooring is top notch. The lighting is great. The walls, it's all kind of like a mix of grays and blacks. It looks legit. This is a really nice looking gym.
Yeah. He's not messing around with this one.
Yeah. Hashtag goals. Am I right?
Yeah. That's legit. You know, the last thing I was trying to piece together on this that I couldn't even quite tell from all the photos, but I was just, maybe you got a feel for this, but do you think you could get strong in this place?
Oh, hell yeah. Me and Big Fat Pupper MD are getting real strong up in there.
Oh, hell yeah. Yep, that's a certified training facility right there. If you have not yet become a certified training facility, I was kind of thinking about this, and it was making me wonder.
Now what the hell are you waiting for?
Become a certified training facility now. The time is now to become a certified training facility. We have spots open at massenomics.com/certified. And if you are already a certified training facility, make sure to send us pictures of your gym so we can get them added to the map.
Yeah.
We only
can't talk about
get
it
to be
with no
the
pictures.
Yeah, you only get to be the certified training facility of the week if we have pictures of your gym. That's the number one thing we need. So make sure to send us the pictures. It just makes for a really cool map that way too. Almost 300 certified training facilities on our map. So go check it out. Even if you haven't signed up yet, even if you don't have a gym to certify, go check it out. Maybe you're road tripping and you're looking for a sweet friend to hang with and get a lift in. Some of them are accepting crew visitors. So check it out. Should we kick everyone out of here and get towards our title topic?
Yeah, why don't you, do you want to read an ad?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll read an ad here. I want to talk about the Strength Co. Check them out at thestrength.co. Now they have their lowest prices on shipping ever. That's right. They've gamed the system to be able to ship even their heaviest plates at an extremely affordable price to you. It's tough for the competition to keep up with these shipping prices that they've come up with. So check it out. Whether you live anywhere in the U.S., they're going to be the go-to plates for your home gym, commercial gym, semi-commercial gym, training studio, whatever kind of place you got. You're going to want the strength.co. I've even heard that companies like NASA use these. They're so accurate that companies like NASA use these to test weights.
And they invented space, so
yeah,
think about it.
I think that's saying something. Checking them out at thestrength.co, the best made in America Olympic iron black E-coated plates on the market. Did you get everyone the axe?
they are out of here.
Feel like a weight's been lifted off of my shoulders with these guys being gone and gals. Do we need to talk about what this title topic is going to be?
Yeah, so the title topic here, again, we're still working on the final formal title of it.
Do you need a little title topic intro music?
But yes, hit me with that intro music. So I'm bouncing between two ideas here, Tanner. Work with me. So the first one is, will digital resistance take over? That was the initial idea, but okay, follow me along. Just roll with me here. Ready for this?
Yeah.
The rise of digital resistance.
I think we've had titles something similar to this.
I mean, did we just do an episode called The Rise of Machines and Home Gyms a couple months ago? Maybe. But maybe there's a newcomer on the scene and there's another rise.
All right. What about this one just completely out of left field? Cottage cheese, the best superfood ever invented by man.
I mean, I'm not arguing with the title. A little off topic from what we prepared for, but I can roll with it.
I'm spitballing.
You said left field.
I understood
you
that this is like a blue sky.
You weren't exaggerating when you said
exercise.
left field there.
This is a blue sky exercise. There's also some hat thing have you ever learned the hat thing? I was putting on my certain color hat. I don't know if it's the white hat or which hat it is when it's only all idees are good ideas. That's
I don't know
there's
if I
like
know
5
that
different
one.
hats you put on.
Okay, I don't know that one. I'll have to look into that.
Don't waste your time. No, nope.
I will look deeply
Don't
into
do
this.
it. Don't look into it. Someone listening will know what I'm talking about, and they can agree with me. Do not look into it. something like the 7 hats of some bullshit as presented by someone that your corporate company paid a lot of money to
like
be
a very okay. I went too far. I already went.
What is it called?
The phase 7 hats of. I just typed in.
Oh.
It's actually the 6 thinking hats and
The
the
6
president
thinking
of the
hats.
United States.
Yeah. Okay.
It's it's actually 6 with blue appearing twice. I don't know what the white hat focuses on facts and information. Red hat, emotions and feelings. Black hat identifies risk and problems. Okay, yeah, this sounds god awful here.
I warned you.
Oh God, why did you do this to me?
Oh, I had my black hat on, I guess.
Oh,
Should have been the
boy.
yellow hat. I have a book if you want to borrow it.
Oh well, if it's in book form, then it
It's
sounds
very fresh.
sounds
Barely
riveting.
been opened.
Yikes! Get it out of my brain.
Yeah, so it probably won't be that. I guess it won't. So I was just thinking about the cottage cheese thing though. What about this? One last choice here. Digital resistance, semicolon, the squat of the total body.
Now you might be onto something with that. Okay.
The
Cottage
squat of the tonal body.
yeah, cottage cheese colon the power queens of nutrition. People know they're effective, but they don't want to go
Yeah.
there.
That's
You know?
true.
Effective, underutilized. People don't know what they're
Yeah.
missing.
That's true.
They thought it was just for younger people.
There again, not super related to what we're going to talk about, but I really like the topic title.
Could be onto something.
Okay, so what is this? Why are we talking? What Coop had a video on this, didn't you?
Yeah, what was his actually
didn't-
called?
I actually didn't finish the video. I was trying to do my homework and watch the video, and tried watching it twice. And to be brutally honest, this isn't taking a shot at anyone, but I fell asleep immediately both times trying to watch that video.
It was while you were driving, right?
Driverless cars these days, am I right?
That's right. Okay, actually, what was his gym's? Okay, his video. He took, we took a pretty practical approach to it. His was titled "Home Gyms Are Going Away," parentheses, as you know them.
He went with the parentheses. Okay. And close parentheses?
Nope, just left it wide open. He left it open.
Oh, God. That is an open-ended thought.
No, he did close the parentheses. He did close
Okay.
it. He's not completely insane.
He went with parentheses in the title, huh?
Yeah.
We've never done that before, have we?
I'd have a hard time believing
Never
we've
say
never
never.
done it once, but probably
Yeah.
if we've done it, it's only been 1 or 2 times, I would guess.
Yeah, that's a ballsy move.
It is. It is. And then his thumbnail says, "Bye."
Let's put our title in brackets.
Yeah. Maybe
Is that
air
the right
quotes.
term for the
Maybe
for the?
quotes.
Okay, yeah, yeah. What about the bracket thing that's kind of like squiggly?
The curly brackets.
Yeah, the curly brackets. What are those called?
Yeah.
Looking for it. Oh yeah, I see it on my keyboard. They're on the. They share the button with
Yeah.
the brackets.
Why can't I think of what those
The
are?
hell are those? Oh, the tetralogies.
There you go.
Are those
There
the
you go.
tetralogies?
Yeah, it's a curly bracket, also
that
called a
what it's called?
brace.
Oh, a brace.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Have you ever used that for anything before in your life?
Occasionally, it gets used in code a lot. So copy
Okay.
pasting things. I mean, I don't
Okay.
really write code, but like
So it's code. Outside of code.
outside of code, I'm not sure I've ran across that in English writing too often.
Yeah, that might be one of the least used things that I see visually on my keyboard.
Yeah. Do you use the tilde very often?
You're going to have to use descriptors there.
Well, let me see if I got the right word there.
Matilda.
Is
You're
it
thinking
tilde or
movie.
tilde? Tilde. No, that's not right. Yeah, tilde. There we go. I said tilde.
What's that?
Tilde. That's on my keyboard, the upper left, right underneath my escape key.
Escape.
There's that wiggly little hyphen looking thing.
Yeah, I use that all the time.
Yeah, tilde.
I use that all the time. I don't know. I use that as in with before a number it means about.
Yeah.
I use that at the work at work constantly because it like doesn't tie me to
Gives you a wiggle room.
specific. Yes, yes.
Like, Tanner
Yeah.
only puts all of his numbers in tilde.
Yeah,
with tilde.
I do use tilde all the time. Actually,
Well, now you know what you're
recently
firing
within the
away over there.
Yeah, in the last few years, I started utilizing that a lot.
You're playing with a loaded gun. You don't even know what it's called.
Yeah, so that's the tilde.
Yeah, it's a tilde.
What's the thing that shares the key with that?
Is that just like another apostrophe kind of, or a accent mark or something?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's just like it's like an accent mark, or it's like an apostrophe that goes the other direction.
Right.
Yeah, I don't actually know. I don't know if I've ever used that one. That is a different one.
Do you use the tilde for anything?
Not really. No.
I do use the tilde quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, I don't use it ever. Actually.
Okay. Keyboard talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've talked keyboards like functionality and like styles of keyboards before, but I don't know in the 481 episodes that we've really dove deep into the buttons themselves.
Into the finer points of what's all on here.
It was right in front of our faces the whole time, this perfect podcast episode topic. And we
I
finally
prefer
got
to say it was right at our fingertips the whole time, and we just.
Yeah, you're kind of a shortcut guy though, right?
Oh, big shortcut guy over here.
Yeah. Started doing the tricky part about shortcuts, they're good if you can remember them.
Well, the thing is, you just do them, and then you don't have to
Yeah.
remember them anymore.
It's like telling someone how to play a video game.
Actually,
You can't
kind of
explain
yes.
how to do it.
You just got to do
have
it.
to do it.
Yeah, I'm fairly confident there's a lot that I would have a very hard time telling you what it actually is, but I could just knock them out all day, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Title topic then?
Yeah, title topic it is.
Title topic. Keyboards.
Do we
What
need
are
them?
they good for?
Have you ever used one? Sound
Title
off in the
topic.
comments.
Tildes. Do you know what tilde means?
All right. Okay. Will digital resistance take over? So the inspiration for this video was Coop had like we said, a rather sensational video. Actually performed fairly well for him. Talking about home gyms are going away as we know it, like we said. And the point of his video, it's about 20 minutes long. Like Tanner said, don't watch it if you're tired. You might fall asleep a couple times. But
Yep.
what he is doing in the video, he's mostly hyping up the Voltra, the Beyond Power Voltra, something we've talked about several times on this. And if you don't know what that is, it is a little digital resistance box that can provide up to 200 pounds of resistance for you. And as long as you can mount this box to something, you can do pretty much whatever you want with it. And they got options for it's not just straight weight. So they got options for feeling like you have bands, feeling like you have chains, feeling like I don't know, what do they got? Like eccentric, like different. There's a ton of like basically any way you can rig weight to make it feel different. This box can do out of the box. You know, it can just do that for you. So being that it is so compact, you know, I don't know, what does the box weigh? 10 pounds maybe, Tanner?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it weighs 10 pounds. You know, it's not very big, super portable, and very versatile. Coop is really hyping this up as the next big thing. And I mean, he has a lot of good points in it. He kind of contradicts himself a few times, then also says there's some exceptions here and there. But I thought maybe we should do our take on it and see how we feel about digital resistance being the next thing that's going to make your home gym go away.
Yeah. So should we talk about some of the pros that we have listed here?
Yeah.
We just jump
There's one
around,
comment on
whatever.
this video I really liked. Should I do that now or should I?
Yeah, do that.
Okay. Big Joe. We know Big Joe, don't we? Big Joe's a supporting member, isn't he?
What Joe is it?
Joe
With the D?
Coan.
Oh, yeah. He's a commenter all the time, isn't he?
Yeah. Pretty sure he's a supporting
Okay.
member.
All right, yeah.
He had probably my favorite comment on this video. And he left the comment. He goes, we went from buy once, cry once, and pass it on to your grandkids to expensive digital products we need to replace every couple of years like a cell phone. And it says, hold my barbell. And that is really funny because it's kind of like throwing it back in Coop's face of his saying on everything is buy once, cry once, buy the nicest one you can afford, get the craziest thing. This stuff lasts forever. And that's probably leading into, I don't know, maybe the first con or the biggest con of this entire thing is that this is new technology and we just have no idea what the future holds. Right?
Yeah. That, and how, yeah. And like to his point, how long it's actually going to last.
Mm-hmm. Like,
because
yeah, like if I go and buy a set of strength co plates, like and I forget, depending on where you live, shipping, what it comes out to being per pound, but like, I know I can always recoup a decent amount of that, or even a large percentage of that, at almost any point, as long as you don't totally destroy the plates, which is hard to do when we're talking strength co plates. But as long as you don't totally destroy them, there's always going to be a market for those. Whether that's 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. That's maybe the biggest question mark is even 3 years from now, does Voltra come out with a new product that renders this one, or I should say beyond power? Do they come out with a product that relieves makes the Voltra obsolete? Do they come up with a product that's significantly cheaper? Does the product just not work 3 years from now? Is it suffering from some type of failure 3 years from now where it has diminished capabilities? We just don't know. Like, we have no clue what it looks like 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now on this item.
I mean, it's almost, I would take it to the bank. 5 to 10 years from now, something will be changed drastically in that, either to the point that the ones you have now are crap compared to what's available, or they don't even work.
It would
like
seem
one of those
like
two
it.
things will probably be a certainty. Either the newer improved options are way better than the one you bought, making the one you bought pretty, very minimal value, or they might not even work. Like 10 years from now, are those going to work? Like, what if you were betting like the Voltra? If you've been using it for 10 years, like, is it going to work in 10 years?
Well, so that's what I was trying to look at here. And because it's using some type of electromagnetic motor is how this whole thing is, it's electromagnetic resistance. And the way I understand it, as a guy that knows nothing about electricity and basically nothing about motors, is that it's just this little like electric motor that is somehow creating the resistance. And just asking ChatGPT here, like, what does it understand about this, which is probably slightly more than me, but probably not much. And this is saying a typical lifespan of a high-quality brushless DC motor or servo motor is 10,000 to 30,000 hours. And it's saying, assuming moderate daily use of 1 hour a day, 10,000 hours would mean this lasts 27 years, and 30,000 hours means this lasts 82 years. And that's if you used it an hour for every single day, which most people wouldn't use this for an hour every day of their life.
No,
But,
not on average.
I mean,
not
for
that
sure,
much.
other parts are going to fail before then, if that was actually
Well, the battery
case.
for sure will.
Yeah, the battery
right?
for sure would need to be replaced before then, because that is how this unit operates, is by battery. I would also imagine that, like, the screen, the touch screen, things like that are probably going to suffer from something. But again, this is all just
speculation
because you have no idea. This is such a new product. You don't really know how long it's going to be around. So I think that's probably the biggest unknown right now. Like, if we had, if this was, it's not even if you knew that this was good for 20 years, I think a lot of people would probably just be like, yeah, I'll spend the $2,000 and a few $100 on some mounts and just buy this for 20 years. Like, I'll do that. But I think it's just that unknown factor that makes it really hard to recommend right now.
Yeah. Other pros, or some of the pros, I guess a big one is potentially space saving if you're comparing it to other things directly that you would have in your gym. If you're really saying it's replacing things in your gym, then I suppose it could save space. Although, counterpoint, I would say to that, a lot of the way that I see people utilizing this so far is not actually saving any space, because you're just adding it to things you already have. Nobody's getting rid of almost anything. But like, if this really took over your...
They're adding more uprights and more extensions and things like that.
If this really took over your gym, I suppose it's space saving. I've almost yet to see hardly anyone use it that way.
I think the biggest space saver I've seen is people using this as a belt squat.
Yeah.
Because belt squats are enormous.
Yeah.
This can be a considerable saving.
Enormous.
This can be a considerable saving over a standard belt squat. You still need the floor space to do a belt squat, but compared to something like a Rhino, that's to me actually one of the most attractive options of this whole setup is something like that.
Well, and that's part of it then too, like, especially with the, Dr. Taddy waffles and Darko mount and different things you can do. It is very versatile in the sense that you can put it almost anywhere in your gym and do several different things with it, including like the belt squat, flies, curls, tricep stuff, anything you do with a cable, you could do with this. That's where I'm like, okay, you can use it for belt squats. You could use it for cable flies, some stuff like that.
Could use it for
gonna
lat pull downs.
Yeah. Is it going to replace, are you going to replace your pressing movements with it? Are you going to replace an action, like a squat? Are you going to come up with an apparatus to squat with it across your back?
Yeah, and
like
that's
a bar across your back.
I think maybe that's one of my biggest, watching the Coop video, watching it from our perspective, because you and I have a very similar training style and very similar goals. And actually a lot of the people that we are acquaintances with, friends with, lift with, have very similar goals as well. And those are typically more performance focused or something along the lines of strongman and powerlifting. That's where a lot of people are coming from, is those training methodologies. And when I look at the Voltra, I think, oh, this is a cool accessory helper. I don't think like this is completely changing all of my training.
Right.
And someone like Coop, the way he brings it out, I think he said he uses it for like 80% of his training. And I'm like, that's just so not how I train.
Yeah, that's not the way I train.
No, that's just like not my training style. That by the time, my training revolves around some variation, like, the big three, squat, bench, deadlift, or some variation of those big three with a barbell. And then usually there's some dumbbell work involved. And then, there's some cable accessory on some days, not all days. And so as much as I would love a Voltra, there would definitely be days where I just straight up wouldn't use one in my training.
And when you would use it, it'd be either the third or fourth exercise you did for the day, if at highest the second.
Yeah. The second would be maybe on an upper body
Possibly
day.
on a belt squat.
Yeah. Or like I'm done benching and now I'm moving to lat pull downs. Like that would be, a second option.
And even then I'm like, that's barely a second lift. Like that's, it is a third or fourth lift for people that train. I'm not even saying you have to be a power lifter, but people who seriously strength train. Here, I'll even just say this. This is maybe more controversial.
Oh, hot take alert.
Yeah, I'm not even saying a power lifter. If you seriously strength train, if you're training to get strong, and I mean like legit, not go from, pressing 135 on a traditional bench press to pressing 165, that's not what I'm talking about. Like if you're someone that really has a goal of getting stronger, maybe if even for athletic performance wise, I can see this being a tool to add to your toolkit. I in no way in its present form could see this replacing it. Like it would be far inferior in my eyes. Like there's just not a way for it to be replaced.
I think at the end of the day, like the bar
That's an inferior.
Like as much as people maybe at times don't want to acknowledge it, like the barbell is just so good at what it does. And so like rigging this up to like replace the barbell is either you're introducing a lot of headache or annoyance or hassles. It's just, so
it's not as good at it. Like
no,
you're
it's
like,
not. And at the end of the day, it's not as good.
Rigging things up to make it not as good at what's the tool we already have does.
Yeah. Then that's where I think at the end of the day, this is just always going to be, if like high-end strength or like higher levels of strength are your primary goals, this at best will just be an accessory helper, an accessory tool, an accessory fun item to have in your training.
Yeah. Here's the potential benefit of it that I'm not really on board with. Maybe for rare circumstances and people, is the quiet operation. You don't have the banging of weights and stuff. And I'm like,
really,
I want that. Like taking that away is not a positive to me.
Well, even in a home gym though, I'm like, you can lift pretty quietly if you're like, the heaviest thing would be, I guess, if you're slamming plates into the, when you're loading plates and you're slamming them in, but it's really easy to like let them in gently. Like I've lifted with people sleeping in my house commonly. And then also I guess like deadlifts, like just don't drop them, or you can different types of crash pads. Like you can build a platform of kinds that would let you
Yeah.
deadlift quieter if that's an issue. But the sound thing I think is a little over, being that this is for the most part replacing accessory stuff that is already using cables. I don't really buy that as.
Well, call me old fashioned, but I enjoy the sights and sounds of a gym.
Well, yeah,
You know,
especially in a
I'm
gym. Like, and I get it. Like people are a little more sound conscious in a home gym, but yeah, I don't think like your dumbbell flies and your functional trainer or what's like keeping everyone
right,
up.
in your lap pull down. Yeah.
Right. Like, I don't think that this is like, I don't think that should be the selling factor on this.
Yeah, I guess another part, the cool things about not that this really helps to, none of this really makes a case for replacing any of those existing core items in the gym, but some of the other positives too is just like, kind of almost like what using an app like Juggernaut does, the tracking and what it has the potential to do because it is hooked up to software. I mean, it's maybe not even what it's doing now, but just what it could be able to do in the future. I could see that getting pretty cool.
I could
As
too,
far
but
as your programming's like integrated into the device possibly or whatever.
right. But that always feels a little gimmicky to me. Like
that's true.
Like when we're at Jake's,
something's got to change in present form. That is still gimmicky. Maybe it can get to something where that doesn't seem gimmicky.
But,
like that's a tonal then at that point, and I'm like, no, that's stupid now. You know,
like
like
remember
I'm
when we were
like,
at Jake's and he had those Kabata dumbbells and like you would change the weight and the
immediately
weight would,
I was like, no,
the weight
I don't
would
like
light
it.
up and the LED screen would
Yeah.
tell you how much it weighed. And I'm like, this kind of just feels like it's technology for technology's sake. And I
Right.
think he's like, oh yeah, you can do them and it will count your reps. And it's like, you know what I don't need help with? Counting my
Yeah.
reps. Like that's the easiest part of my workout there is when I'm in the moment, just counting what I'm doing. I mean, that's literally the only thing you're doing is trying to get reps. Like that's what you're there for. So that one just doesn't do anything for me either.
The feel, like some people talked about the feel of it as a con. We've both messed around with a little bit. I don't know, for those like accessory movements and stuff, I thought it feels good.
I
though,
actually
right?
might
You
say
know?
the feel might be a pro over like a normal
Yeah.
cable machine because
Yeah.
so one thing, this is again, haven't had a ton of time to play with it, but in a cable machine, you can kind of jerk that initial spot and get some momentum going. I'm not sure you can actually do that on these machines. Like I think it keeps, I think it adapts to however much you're pulling on it. So
Right.
I think it's probably a more realistic feel throughout the motion throughout the movement than what a standard cable machine would be. And also as far as feel goes, you can control those, what's the hot word? The force or the resistance curve.
Oh, sure.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
that's
essentially
right.
is what the Voltra
Yeah, you
is.
can adjust
is
the
letting
resistance
you
curve
resist
exactly how you want to.
adjust the resistance curve throughout. So to me, I kind of give the edge to the Voltra here in being that it does offer more options as far as the feel goes.
Yeah. Did we talk about the price of them?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we started with. Is that like that is just the ultimate rope. If these things were $400, I mean, I think everyone would just have them already. Like
if
that.
they're $400 and as good as, because there are like $400 options
Yeah,
that exist,
but
then they're not good almost at all.
no, like if the Voltra itself was this little box that went up to 200 pounds, had this good screen, easy to use interface, all these little features. If it did all that for $400, man, I don't know.
Everyone would have it.
You just
actually.
would.
I mean, every home gym, it would go from, I don't know what you figure that 1 to 5% are owning it now. Like 80% of them might own it if it was
Right. And I don't think that 400 number is happening anytime soon. To me, the number where it gets more into common would be like under 1,000. If this gets under 1,000, then it's like, ooh, like that's pretty tempting. But 2,000 tax, shipping, some mounts, like everyone we talked to is like, oh yeah, you're kind of into this for 2,500 by the time you do it.
Right.
And that's a big turnoff. One thing that Beyond Power does different than a lot of these, though, is that Beyond Power does not charge a subscription fee yet. And that is also something that I would still be wary of going forward is all of the other, Tonal, Peloton.
I really don't like that if they start changing.
I really don't like
that. That's like
that.
a complete turnoff for me if there's a subscription behind it.
You look at a Tonal, which a Tonal is just a different version of this that has, like a screen and a built-in platform.
Yeah. And it's less mobile, I guess.
Right. But like a Tonal, so this is saying Each tonal requires a 12-month membership commitment of $60 a month. And then the tonal itself is like $4,300.
Holy crap. I did not realize what a tonal actually costs.
Yeah. It's like, God damn. And it's $300 to get this thing delivered.
$5,000 for the first year because you got to have the subscription too.
And then every year going forward, it's $720. Like, damn, dude, that is a lot of money.
Pretty nice gym subscription.
That's the thing, though. It's just like, that's kind of just what a lot of gyms cost, Like,
right.
And I get it. This thing's offering you convenience, but
yeah, but if you were paying for a gym membership and that they have one of those, would you even use it?
No, because that's the thing is like you're using this because you just need something compact and small and convenient. But a tonal's kind of a different product because that really doesn't fit what we're trying to do here.
Voltras really the one that's even appealing in this conversation,
right? Because they're not doing the subscription thing. But then again, who knows? Do they come out sometime and say, hey, we'll sell you $1,000 Voltra, but it's also going to cost you like $50 a month. And if you cancel your subscription, then this product is a brick now. It's not the craziest thing in the world. Like stuff like that is happening all the time, with more and more stuff moving to subscription services. So to be seen, I believe in that video, Coop said, they promise they're not going to do that, but you're kind of taking their word for it. That's something doesn't happen. That's not advantageous to you.
Conceptually too, like the thought of it replacing things in the home gym, that's where I'm a little hung up on it, that I'm still like, I'm just saying what people are doing now, and it's not replacing shit. It's just an entire additional thing people are adding. Like it's barely, you could make a case like Dr. Tatty Waffles. He did effectively replace having a belt squat in the back of his rack.
To me, that's really the main thing that it replaces a belt squat. Other than that is like, it's just replacing weight stacks is the way to think of it. The lat pull down. Okay. You still need the apparatus.
That's what I'm saying. But like you still need most of the nuts.
Yeah. You just don't have the weight stack, or if you move it to
even in the belt squat, that's kind of the case. You still have to like mount something you have to have something on the floor and a platform to stand on.
Yeah. They do have
splitting hairs on that a little bit.
Yeah, they do have that platform, but it like, again, in comparison to like that to me, like I've said this already, is the most compelling thing of when I compare to having a Rhino versus potentially being able to do almost that same thing with this. It's like, God, like saving so much
space,
saving so much room. If I had unlimited space, it'd be like, oh no, you just get the Rhino every time. Who cares about it? But like, I'm for the most part trying to stay in like half of a stall in my garage, and a Rhino would damn near double my floor space all of a sudden.
But even as we've seen, that I still agree that that's probably the best use for it. But you can't even do that. We've seen in gyms we've toured that haven't published yet.
Yeah,
you can do that. Save the space, not have to have the giant belt squat machine, and still not do it with digital resistance. Mm-hmm. There's options for that too.
Yeah, very, very doable. Absolutely, very doable. Here you do have the added convenience and safety of, okay, this machine, the weight stack only activates when you want it to. So you have some additional options there, and I believe Coop talks about it from the perspective of, I picture a day where sometime commercial gyms, instead of having weight stacks, they just have machines with these things sitting in them. And I'm like, I think you haven't been like outside of the home gym bubble lately to see how people actually treat stuff in a commercial setting.
Well, that's a maintenance nightmare.
Oh God. I mean, the machines on their own, go into a commercial gym. Machines are broken all the time in a commercial gym. And these are commercial machines, like it's not uncommon.
Treadmills are always broken.
Yeah.
That's what
it's like. You got like a belt. You just have to keep a belt moving and then turn it at the correct, So that's where I think that's probably a long ways off. Just the way people are hard on shit.
I think I don't even see it. Like, I don't see that being a thing in our lifetime, that you go to a gym and it's like, oh, sweet, all digital resistance. I'm like, I don't buy that'll be a thing in like maybe there could be niche markets for it, but like
maybe a very high-end boutique gyms that maybe let you do that.
I actually could see that. I could see that popping up right now if you're in like LA and you're like, oh yeah, it's the all whatever digital resistance gym. You know, it's this fad thing that we're selling you on, and the membership is $400 a month. And like some people are like, "Yep, I'm sold." And I could see that sort of thing. And actually, I'm shitting on a lot. I actually like the Voltras from what I've seen.
Like all these
I'm
comps we
just
put
saying-
out here, we are
Yeah.
Voltra fans actually. Like that is.
I'm just saying, for the argument of it replacing things, I don't see it replacing. Replacing is the specific word for me. I don't see it replacing much in the short term, especially where I'm like, I think it's a cool add-on. Like it's a cool other thing for you to get quit. Don't sell yourself that you're saving money or much of else. Like you're not like, ooh, I'll get this instead of that. It's like, nah, you're probably just going to get that also. And then you got another thing for your gym. Like then you got another cool toy for your gym. And I don't mean toy as in something that's hokey, or like you got another cool piece of equipment for your gym to use. You know, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah,
still,
I didn't
where I'm
actually
like,
think of it before that it's really not replacing much. Like when you say that, it really in most situations is replacing a weight stack.
Especially it doesn't replace shit if you're someone that really strength trains. If you're like, oh, I like to go in and catch a pump, and I'm like, I'm bodybuilding, but not like an actual bodybuilder. I'm just like building my body. And by that, I mean, I don't like squats and deadlifts because they hurt.
Yeah, like and my split is like I have two different upper body days, you know, and then I got my shoulder day and my.
And I've kind of poo-pooed that style of training before, and I really don't mean to poo-poo that, but like that's the type of person that this could be a thing for. If you're like, if you start a chest day with a chest fly, like if you're going in and you're like, it's a chest day, and your first thing you do is a chest fly, this might be for you. Or if you're like, it's back day.
But even
the first
there, you
kind of
need two of these though, and all of a sudden you're like damn near at $5,000 by the time you get two of these and the mounts and everything, that is a lot of money. Like that is a lot.
Yeah. I like them. I guess I want to
With all that being said,
I actually do.
It is like the coolest thing in home gyms right now.
They are really cool. They are super cool. But like, even if here's an example, if all of a sudden 10 of them got dropped off at my doorstep tomorrow, and it was like, replace whatever you want to in Massenomics gym with these, like.
Well,
for the better of the members, what would I actually replace in the gym that people would be like, oh, good, you improved this by using this instead of that?
Well, and there it's actually really
like,
hard because there is a learning, like that's just where it doesn't work in a commercial gym because there is such a learning curve with it. Like it would just be too much for most people. Because I mean, you actually have to like walk everyone through it. Like they're relatively self-explanatory, but once you start talking the different modes and all that,
right.
It's confusing rather than you put a pin in number 45 and you just get to work. And then also in Massenomics gym, and I don't know if people realize this, is that like in commercial gyms, there's a lot more than just uprights with holes in them that exist. And in Massenomics gym, there's not a lot of places that these would be advantageous to use, in my opinion, that isn't at the power racks, you know?
Right. And that's where we don't want that kind of stuff. I mean, that's a reality of any sort of gym like that, though. Like that's not how gyms are set up, like that aren't home gyms. You don't really want people doing flies in your rack at a gym. That's where like
there's
serious shit
there's an actual machine for that. That's it.
Right.
But I'm just
what about it? Here's a better example then, I guess. If 2 of them land on your doorstep tomorrow, do you replace anything that's in your existing
and that's
gym?
what I was going to say is like, what would I actually do different in my training?
Would
you
still use your lat? You have a lat.
I would still use my lat pull down because I would still use my lat pull down because that machine is built, you know, intentionally to those ergonomics
like
of using
perfectly
that.
for that, basically.
And it's like, well, if I wanted to use that in my rack, then I would actually need to get an extension to get it up higher. And then I would also need to buy one of those like $300 like Rep Pegasus seats, you know, that I can attach to it. Or I need to buy 2 rollers to, you know, wedge me under. So when I'm doing lat pull downs, I can slide my bench in and do this. So like that's not convenient. It's actually more annoying to do it if I want to do lat pull downs with it in my setup. Like that is less good.
Maybe the better, because I'm just trying to figure out like.
Oh, for me, the one is belt
Yeah.
squat. Like that's the one I would
Right.
want it for. Is the
Right.
belt squat.
Right.
Outside of that, it's like
You still
I
need
don't.
to do some things to make that work.
Oh yeah, and it's still
like,
it's still not a gimme. It's like it's still
Right.
like would require some work and some setup and
Yeah.
just some reconfiguring. But I don't do like I don't do chest flies. Like that's not a thing. And besides, I need it to do 2, and like tricep push downs. I already have a lat pull down machine that satisfies that, and I have the low row on that, and like that satisfies some of those movements. Like I don't really do cable machine curls. That's not a thing that I really like. It's not a movement I really like.
If you didn't have a lat pull down already, like at one point in time you didn't,
Yeah,
then but the way you described it, as I'm thinking, well, you still have to buy $500 worth of other rack attachments to make that.
oh, you
work.
do. I know. Yeah, you would. Like I,
Like
yeah, you'd have to.
the seat, the pad, the extended higher mount.
Yeah,
I mean, you'd be into that for $500, I would think.
easy,
pretty
and
easily.
that's actually more than I spent on my lat pull down machine. So like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like then I'm like, well, it would save some space.
yeah,
Your rack would be much more cluttered all that regularly, I guess. Like,
yeah. I'm trying to think of what other movements I do that this would be helpful on. Maybe like I saw some people doing this. Actually, not even, you could rig up some type of seal row situation with it,
yeah.
But then again, I'm like, well, how am I rigging this up? Like, I still need to
Right.
get off the floor. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's for our style of training because we are so barbell based in our training. At
Right.
the end of the day,
Right.
I think if that's how you view training, this, like we were saying, is just
Is a cool, really fun
accessory
supplemental,
thing that you will use
yeah.
sometimes, occasionally on
Yeah.
certain days.
And it'd be really cool and fun, and it'll be cool to play with. And
oh,
just
it's a great
be like,
party trick
oh,
to
yeah.
show off to everyone
Right.
that shows
Yes.
up.
Yeah.
But if you do that
and
style
it feels
of training,
really good, and it's rock solid. Like when you use it, you're not like, oh, look at this chintzy piece of computer shit. You're like, oh no, this is, this is like legit.
this is legit.
You
Yeah,
know?
it is legit. It is legit.
Right.
But I think now that we've really talked it out, I'm sort of like feel like I'm seeing clearly now. I'm having some clarity about this whole thing. And as much as I would still love one, I got to be realistic about my training style. And
Right.
ultimately, it would be tough for me to say that someone in our situation that this would be a major component in their training.
Yeah, it's an accessory. I mean, for people that train like us, to me, this is an accessory tool for
Mhm.
sure. This doesn't replace primary movements. It's an accessory tool. It's a cool one, a really expensive one, but a convenient and versatile one once you get it. But, there's good and bad with it. I think, it's not so cut and dry. It just all depends.
Yeah.
Just like everything.
And
guess it just
when I know
depends on
people
what
that
you want.
have these, I don't know a ton. Like I know a few. Basement Brandon, he has one, and I'm not sure how much he uses it. I think he uses it a little bit, a decent amount.
Yeah.
But
Does he have two?
I think he actually does have 2.
He might have
But
two.
like he's not posting a ton of clips. He's still, at least the clips he posts, he's primarily
He's
still doing
squatting,
barbell
benching,
training.
and deadlifting. I mean, he's a power lifter.
Yeah.
It's just, he's not, it's, when he comes in for squat day, his main focus isn't what can I use the Voltras for? It's I have to squat today. And then like, oh, maybe here my third lift. Actually, okay, for lower body, what do you use the Voltra for besides a belt squat then?
You could
How do you
potentially.
how do you do leg extension? Or
Well, I was
leg
gonna say
curls
it
with
still comes down to someone making either you have a leg extension leg curl machine in your gym and you're
Right,
replacing
and
the
then you
weight stack.
attach it to, so then you're replacing the weight stack on a piece of equipment. Like that's
But the piece
that
of
whole
equipment that already has it,
philosophy is-
or
Right.
you get one of those benches now that people are hyping up that potentially will have this leg extension leg curl attachment on the bench.
Okay.
And there you would potentially have the machine that you still do got to buy that leg curl, leg extension,
right.
piece to it. And then also hope you have a bench that's compatible with. And I mean, you're still talking about probably $500 and then hoping that this still works. Yeah. I mean, it's a stretch. It still is a stretch in most scenarios.
Yeah. The taking a machine, an existing weight stack or a selectorized machine, and then you replace that with the Voltra for the resistance. I still think that's cool. It's actually I guess a real life one that we saw in person is Dr. Tatty Waffles on his leg press. The way he hooked the Voltra up
Yes.
to be the resistance on the leg press. That was cool.
And that is really cool. But again, and that was an awesome setup. 100%. That was so cool seeing that. For a lot of people, for that to be practical, you need 2 of them, though. You're talking like,
Yeah.
over $4,000 to do that.
The other thing, like, say straight up, if that was you and you're training seriously and you're trying to get stronger, and I mean, you're competing in a powerlifting meet in a month. If it's time to leg press, I know you don't even like leg press. Let's say you did.
Let's just say it was a hack squat instead.
Hack squat, and you have it in your gym, and it's time to do it, and you don't have a ton. I mean, you're lifting on a schedule all the time, like in the sense that you are on a time crunch, kind of all. Even when you're not on a crunch.
It's very rare in a week that I have a training session where I just have all of the time in the world. Most of the time I'm racing the clock.
So when it came down to it, even if you had the mounts and everything set up, do you think when it was time to hack squat, would you hook up the 2 Voltras, dial them into the settings, or would you throw like 3 plates on it and do, that's the thing too. It's like,
from a lazy standpoint, it would, I shouldn't even say lazy. From a convenience, there's something about putting the 2 in and being like, all right, 50 pounds. Okay, sit up 100 pounds. Okay, sit up here. Now we're going to do 300. Like, that is really
so maybe it's
convenient.
faster once you have it set up.
Right, yeah. And then like when we're done, it's just, okay, hit the empty button and the weight's off.
Right.
It is super convenient. Is it $4,000 and some convenient? Probably not. Like, no, but...
It was cool though. Like there again,
it is
we
really
got to mess around with that, and I'm like, that was a really cool application of it.
It is. It's an amazing application of that. I don't know. Maybe there's more. This is the thing. It is such new technology. Even since the first time we saw one at Darko's, I've seen a lot more. I mean, mainly at Dr. Tatty Waffles, just applications of this that I didn't think of the first time that have impressed me.
So right now we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah, maybe there is some really
we haven't
cool.
Seen, the next iteration. Maybe it's because I can't even picture what the next iteration of it is. Even I'm just picturing the Voltra, and that's all I can really picture because it's what exists. But I'm like, oh no, this next version of it that I don't even understand how it works yet. That's the one that's like, okay, nope, that does change and replace things. I don't know how that is because I can't picture it, but
yeah, it's hard to imagine because at the end of the day, you really are just saying, okay, you have a weight stack in your pocket, and just so much of my training does not revolve around a weight stack, though. Ultimately, like I have a weight stack and I still don't use it super commonly. So like my issue isn't that this weight stack's too annoying or too cumbersome or anything like that. It's just like no, a weight stack isn't central to my training.
Right. So any final thoughts on, to answer the question, what's your final answer? Will digital resistance take over?
I think, sorry, I hit the wrong button there. For people that are powerlifting, strongman, bigger strength goals, it will not take over. I do not think it will take over. Will it play a part in their program? Potentially, if you have the budget for it and you want to go down that road. For the everyday person, will this take over? The more just fitness-minded person, will this take over? Maybe, depending on what happens with price. It's still such a huge... I mean, because it's not even like you buy this and your gym's ready to go. You still need a bench. You still need attachments. You'll still need something to mount this to. Like, you still need a lot of shit at the end of the day. And that's where I have a hard time seeing this actually taking over.
Here's what I would say. It depends on your definition of takeover. In 5 years from now, we have, right to present day, we have 300 certified training facilities, and we look at the pictures.
Actually, that's a really funny way of putting it. Yes,
those pictures will all look. I mean, everyone's gyms will change and stuff, but the way those gyms all look will be exactly the same. The difference will be there'll be maybe a few of them will have Voltras. Maybe in 5 years, a lot more of them will have Voltras. It'll just be another thing in there.
Yeah.
Another tool people have. They'll take over in the sense that a lot of people will, as they get cheaper, as they get cooler, as they can do more and more, people will add them in. But I just don't think anything's going away. Like in all those gyms that exist now, nothing's really going to go away that's there now. They won't look different. In just 4 or 5 pictures of each gym, they'll essentially look the same. It's not going to be this digital resistance home gym, like that'll be a rarity.
Right. It'll be just like the rep-ins. Like, oh yeah, we click
Right.
through and every so many gyms have a pair of rep-ins in them or a pair of adjustable dumbbells, and it's like, it's cool. It's a premium piece. It's nice to have. It makes life easier in some ways, maybe slightly less convenient in others, but I think it'll just, that's what it'll turn into, just a more premium accessory that is more commonly seen.
Yep.
This is all bearing, no major changes in price. Like I said, if all of a sudden this thing drops below $1,000, or there's like a bunch of people that enter the field and here, this box goes to 100 pounds and you can get this box for $500, things like that.
If they were $250, I maybe would just buy 10 of them at Massenomics.
Oh yeah. Like if they really did get that cheap,
one breaks, frig it was $200.
If they really get that cheap, I have a hard time believing once you're talking a screen, a battery, some software costs, and then this motor, it seems hard to believe that it would get to that point anytime soon. But maybe in 10 years, our AI overlords will just say, no, you only get digital resistance now.
That's also possible. That's it. That's title topic.
I think so. Did we get it all on the list? I think we got it all here.
I think so. Okay. I did have an announcement.
Oh,
I know last time I made this into a joke and that I was watching Band of Brothers.
oh,
That's not what I'm doing here today. I did start watching a show that depicted from the East Coast that first came out in the early 2000s that is very highly talked about.
is it the West Wing? CSI New York.
No. For anyone that's wondering if it's The Wire, no, I did watch the first couple episodes of the first season of Trailer Park Boys.
Oh,
Again,
okay.
What do you think came out first, Trailer Park Boys or The Wire?
That's a good question. Maybe Trailer Park Boys? Do you know the answer to this?
Yeah, barely. They're very similar. Trailer Park
Yeah.
Boys sometime in 2001, The Wire 2002.
Oh, yeah, very close then.
Yeah. I've seen all of Trailer Park Boys. I just, it popped up on something and I watched a couple episodes of it. I'm like, and I was worried the first season will seem so old and not good. And I'm like, no, this is the best. Even the first episode of the first season, I'm like, this was best right off the bat.
Really?
I think it just goes a little downhill.
See, I still have never seen it. I've never seen it before.
Oh, if you watch that, I'll consider watching The Wire someday.
All right.
Trailer Park Boys is good. I don't know. Maybe it's overrated. I'm not sure about that. I'd have to really analyze that one pretty deeply. But
I don't know.
pretty
Do
good.
people outside of our age group, do younger people even know what that is anymore?
Maybe not. I mean, it freaking came out in 2001.
Yeah, that's now a 24, 25-year-old show. It's
right. But that also wasn't a show, I don't think, that was popular.
No, I don't really remember hearing about it until
didn't run its
college
life
age.
Right. Yeah. Very funny to me, and I just really like the way that it's filmed. And I haven't watched it for probably 7 years, maybe, and I did just think it was very funny.
So it's just taking you back.
Yeah, watch it. And it's so it's just I like the tiny short episodes.
Well, how long
There's
are
something
they? How long
about
are
that. I don't know. Maybe I don't often watch 20-minute show. Normal
so
sitcom,
it is a 20-minute kind of
right.
thing. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's something about not having to commit very much time that I'm like, well, I could watch one episode and it's
it makes
15
it
or
so
20
much
minutes.
easier than these
Right.
hour plus long episodes that exist.
Even if you're going to watch 6 in a row, it's still just, you're never committing more than,
you really covered some ground then too,
Right. So that was my early 2000s thing, is just that I still have not watched The Wire.
I have one in here. Okay. I listened to, admittedly, we were recently on Table Talk, but guests can be very hit and miss for me. I'm kind of at the point where unless it's a guest that I know or something's very relevant to me, there's a lot that I skip. But Dan Green was recently on, and Tanner, did you listen to this one?
Everything you said there is exactly how I approach Table Talk, and I listen to every second of the Dan Green episode.
Okay. Was that a really good episode?
It was so good.
Okay,
I'm
right.
like,
So
Dan's training talking was intense, and I loved it.
Good.
It was
I 100% agree. I was listening to this, and I will also say that I've listened to. Admittedly, it's been a long time since I've heard a Dan Green episode, and I
when
remember
he was
back
on
in
the Powercast.
yeah,
That
it was
episode
it wasn't
very
good. Like it was a very long time ago. And to be fair, that we're talking about a long time ago. I mean, like
Green, yeah.
2000, I don't know, 10 maybe.
And specifically, when I say it wasn't good, like I thought it wasn't good because of Dan.
Yeah,
Like,
I
Dan
just thought
was
he didn't
not
have anything
good
to
on
say. Like that's
Right.
and that's why I'm like, I haven't heard Dan say anything in such a long time. He keeps a pretty low profile, and like we're driving back the other day, or we were in the cities. I was driving back and had time, and I'm like, I don't know, I'll give this one a listen. Let's see. And like from the get go, I'm like, damn, this is good. And as it went on, it was an hour and a half episode, and I loved every second of it. I thought it was great. It actually kind of made me think like, why isn't Dan talking about more of this? Why isn't he putting more of this content out there?
He seems so mellow at times that he was just on like a normal keel.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, oh, did someone give him 1,000 milligrams of caffeine
How
to
much
get him
Monster
just like
did Dan or did
up to
did Dave feed you?
baseline? Yeah, right.
But
It
so much of what he
it
said
was
I thought
really
was really good. A lot of it aligned right with what Juggernaut wants you to do. I mean, didn't
Yep.
it?
Yes, it actually, like a lot of it, I'm like, the way he talked about programming was
Mm-hmm.
awesome. Also, just the way he talked about technique, I thought was pretty. Like he analyzed a couple things that I just hadn't heard people say it in that way
that's
before.
okay.
That I'm like, that is so.
There was a few.
Seems intuitive.
There was a few
like when
that
he's
I
talking about
loved.
squatting.
The one I loved
Yeah.
about squatting was he goes, when you look from the side, he says, what, you watch that bar path come down, and he's like, the bar, basically has to be centered over your foot. And he goes, you can manipulate how much of your leg is either, how much of your leg is in front of or behind the bar. So if you go really, really low bar, when you come down to the bottom, the bar might be almost over the middle of your knee. Like, so your entire leg's behind it. And he goes, and if you go really high bar, really upright, a huge portion of your leg is going to be in front of the bar to where it's like almost in line with like your glutes almost. And I'm paraphrasing here, but he's like, he basically goes on to say that, I found that, to me, the best squat position is when you look that bar is basically dissecting through the middle of your leg, like the middle of your thigh. And he's like, then you're engaging like equal parts quads and equal parts, posterior chain. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's actually a really interesting. I've never heard anyone say that before. And he talked about how when he went to Russia, how Dan personally had been neglecting like his quads and that kind of that thought process of, oh no, you can't let your knees travel forward. It's low bar. It's all posterior chain, all glutes and all that. Right. And he said he went to Russia, and I think it was that, what's it, like Ponzdiev, or I forget whatever the Russian guys.
Said he had like enormous.
He said he actually did a triple take because he had never seen quads like that, like on a powerlifter ever. He's like the way they were hanging over his knees. Yeah. And he's like that. And then he went on to that, that guy squatted 8 something that day or something. And he said he came back from Russia and he's like, oh, I have to like really start training quads. And he talked about why he really likes pause squats, because like that really like makes you have to be confident, bringing the weight down and then like holding that position. And like, that's the one time I ran pause squats consistently. I agree with him. Like I had that same feeling of like, I just felt so confident, like in my squat the whole way through. And like my technique felt so dialed in once you work pause squats. So I like that a lot. He talked a lot about, with bench, how he just feels like the cure for bench is just volume. Yeah. And that's my bench has gone the best it's ever gone in the last year. And that's been the difference maker is volume. Just I lift 3 days a week. I do some type of bench variation 3 days a week. And my shoulders they're never beat up. They always feel fine. I am infrequently sore because, I'm hitting it a lot of different ways, but that's a competition bench, an incline press typically, and then usually like a spoto press or an extra wide bench or something like that. And that's not too much to handle. Like, you're manipulating the weight, you're changing the weight so you can handle that volume. And, that was another one of the good, what were some of the ones that stuck out to you?
That was good. I actually specifically his talk about front squatting, the value of front squatting, it actually made me think, because I love safety squat bar.
Yeah.
And for similar reasons, but it did make me recoil and think a little bit like, am I only getting half of the benefit of what's out there because I'll always use the safety squat
Right,
bar? Like I'm getting some of that benefit that we're talking about there, but do I at times need to actually just be directly using a legitimate front squat that you don't actually get by anything else other than the front
I know.
squat?
And the front squat's
sort of
hard
splitting
because it's just hard to load heavy
So
and not feel like you're dying.
After listening to that, even after I did my squat workout, and then I'm like, I'm actually just going to move an exercise around, and I'm just going to do front squat as a secondary thing because it's been so long since I've front squatted. And I'm like, my thing is like, I bet if I worked at this, I could get this front rack position down. And I've got to say, I don't know if anatomically I can even like if I
Are you trying the crossed arms? Is that what you're
no,
trying?
I can do that. I can do that.
but
but
you're
I
saying
like
the
I wanted to see
elbows
if
up?
I like actually put my elbows up and because I'm like that's how I would like to do
Yep.
it if I was going to do them. And not only am I not close to it being able to do it, like I legitimately can't do it with any amount of weight
Really?
and do
So
that.
like right now you can't put your arm.
I can
like,
do that.
Okay.
Like I
but
can
so once you get a barbell is when
but
you're.
if I can do this, like touch my traps with my thumbs.
But is it turning the hands over? That's when you get in trouble?
I mean, I can't put a bar in my fingers and get this within like 10 inches of sitting.
Right.
Like any amount of weight I would put in there, it's going to be sitting in like all the weight would be in my, like there's no weight resting on my body. Like I can't get that on, or alternatively, if you said, okay, put it on your body, then get your hands underneath of it. It's not like you'd have to snap bones in order for that to get underneath there. It kind of made me wonder, I don't know, maybe the length of people's
your arms are
not saying that it's long arms, but it's just like proportions or something. Like, I don't know, maybe your humerus length versus this like makes it harder. No doubt there's like a lacking mobility in there and some of that stuff, but I'm like, I don't think there's a fix of mobility where I could actually do that. And I don't know. I don't think it would be physically possible to do it.
I think
and I've tried to fix a lot of things before, and I'm like, I don't think I could fix that.
I think Dan's footage though, doesn't he usually
He
have
does
the
do the
crossed arms?
cross.
Okay.
Yeah, which is fine. And actually what I went, because I tried all of them because I'm like, if I'm going to use this, today's a good day for me to
mess around,
figure out like how I would do them. And this is just out the window. Like that's what I want to do the most. And I'm like, that is out the window. There is no way. Like I would spend 24 months just trying to even be able to do that with 135 pounds.
That's not an issue for me. I could go in right now, front squat and do that.
Yeah.
And the last time I ever tried to run an actual front squat cycle of any kind, once the weight started getting closer to like 315, is what I know, you're usually talking higher volume here too, is the way it sits, and this is maybe is a technique thing on my end, the way it sits like kind of in closer to your neck and everything, and like your throat, I'm like, I feel like I'm getting choked out. Like the breathing thing started to feel like the issue actually of being able to just stay conscious.
To even be able to do it.
Yeah.
So I can do the arms cross thing. I just don't really like that well. Like I feel like it's not all that stable. The one I like the best, actually what I would like the best is doing it a real front rack, is I put the straps around the bar and then hold on to the straps because it's very similar to the front rack. It's just not forcing me to do this last. Like my arm, I'm not saying this is because my bicep is huge, but I'm like,
I think that's a part of it.
Someone's like,
I think that's a part of it.
I can't push this forearm down like past a certain point.
Right. Well, yeah, it's like you do this, like my arm here, it gets there, but let's just say like my biceps were like 3 inches bigger. Like you can just see it, like it just lifts that up. And it's like, well, but where does it go then? So it's
that's what I'm saying. Like I was really like, okay, I've got to be able to figure out a way to do this. But finally, whatever, my real point back to the Dan Green thing, when I did it with straps, and I didn't do more than 185 pounds. And I'm very comfortable using the safety squat bar. I've used it a lot over the last 5 to 10 years, and I know what it feels like, and I do believe it has good benefit for me. But the thing about using the actual front squat, even just for a few sets, like in my little experimental messing around, the way it felt in my thoracic spine, my upper back, I was like, okay, that does not feel like that when I safety squat bar. I was like, oh, okay, there is something there, like to not fold forward, to actually have to fight to stay vertical enough, because otherwise the bar will fall forward. You know, you
Yep.
can't pitch forward or else the bar will fall forward. And I just could notice in my thoracic spine that I'm like, wait a second, that is like sore just from a few sets of
Yeah, that
those
is a
in
good
weird
point, because
way.
even at the end of the day, once you start fighting the safety squat bar, I mean, you can still, let your
You can
back
manipulate
take over
it.
very easy.
Yeah,
if
you
if
can
want to.
manipulate it however you want to.
Yep.
Whereas the front squat, you can't because you
cheat that.
can't. The bar will fall off the front of your body if you do that.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Yeah.
That was just one of the very specific things I took from Dan. But to get less specific, I did just also really like that episode. It was awesome.
Well, I mean, he talked about actually another juggernaut thing. He said one of the big changes for him was going up to a single top set and then doing drop sets after for his primary movement. He talked about how that was a changer, like a game changer for him. He talked about how throughout the year, like your primary movement for the day doesn't have to be just SBD. Like your primary movement can be, and that's also a juggernaut thing.
Philosophically, I like that.
But that's a juggernaut. Like as soon as you're done, like as soon as I'm done with this meet, juggernaut does not want your squat to be back squat, competition back squat, like our low bar back squat. It wants you to do a high bar or a front squat or something else. Same thing bench. It doesn't want you to do a comp standard bench. It wants you to change it up. So I thought that was another interesting thing that, like, I'm like, yep, I'm on board with you on that one too. What else did he say though that stuck?
I had the thought of we actually just, I don't know what our episode a few weeks ago was, comparing have an actual coach versus using an app like we do with Juggernaut. And I've often thought before, if I ever was to not use an app and I'm like, nope, for this whatever, I am getting a coach. I've often thought like, well, Chad would be an awesome one. I'd be all totally on board with that because I feel like the way he programs it makes sense to me, the way that of what I feel like makes sense. And then after listening to Dan, I had the thought, if I was doing it, I would pay him. Like if I was going to pay someone to coach me, I would pay him to coach me.
I thought the same thing.
I'm like
if this guy was dropping wisdom bombs on me like this, that would keep me.
Okay, that's worth it.
Yeah.
Like
but that's
where
also
you start
such an
to be like,
extreme example too.
Oh, right. Okay. Who would you allow to coach you? Dan Green. Okay. All right. Dumbass.
One of the strongest guys in the world. Oh, that's so so nice of you. Yeah. I thought. Oh, one thing he said that I thought was interesting is he said, especially on like the natural side, or I should say the unequipped side of powerlifting, or the raw side of powerlifting. He said you have guys that they'll be like, look, he's one of the best in the world, and he just does SBD. He doesn't really do anything else. And he's like, well, if you're going to do the same thing as everyone else, if everyone's just going to do the same thing, then the guy with the best genetics wins. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's actually a good point.
Right.
He's like, so if you're going to beat the guy with the best genetics, you need to be doing something different than him. That's going to help you get over that hurdle. I'm like, that actually is a really interesting way of putting it. Of a lot of times people get into, well, that's what this guy does and it works for him. And it's like, well, is it again because he has the best genetics in the world and maybe also probably really good work ethic and all that. But Dan said, he's like, I got pretty good genetics and I got a pretty good work ethic and I'm pretty, but also I realized like, I'm going to have to like work harder here and be smarter with my programming and exercise selection and things like that. So I thought that was good too. And then he talked a decent amount about deadlift. He said deficits. He's like, deficits are great for conventional. Most people don't want to do them. He talked a decent amount about even block pulls, saying that it teaches you to be in a certain position that you're not used to.
Yeah.
And same thing, block pulls for sumo. But yeah, I thought that was a really good. I really like that one. I'm like, God, if Table Talk was like this every week, I'd just be a Table Talk fanatic. This was amazing.
That was good. It also made me think too. Sometimes people ask us this question: who would we want to get on the podcast? Mm-hmm. He's now on my list.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Where I'm like, no, I wish we had him on the podcast, and I wasn't thinking that before because my impression of the way he was on podcast was completely different until just this episode, where I'm like, no, Dave really. Part of that is he's probably so comfortable with Dave, and he's like,
probably. And also, the podcast we were listening to, like we said, are probably 12-ish years ago.
Right.
I think he's probably grown and learned a lot since then too. So it's
right. Yeah, that's a must listen though. That was really good. Mm-hmm. I had one more thing. Tommy, how long has it been since you've thrown up? What's your streak?
Well,
gotta know your streak. Everyone play along at home. What's your streak?
The last time I can think of for sure, I was severely sick in Aberdeen. That was, so we moved about 4 years ago. God, I was sick. Like, just the amount of puking that I did. I'm sure you can probably go back 4 years ago and find an episode.
Yeah, that's probably we've said it on the podcast.
Just
I'm sure,
the most violent puking ever. Like my wife just terrified in the middle of the night, just hearing, and just exploding out of me. I think
you were throwing up sick for the powerlifting meet.
Yeah, that first one, I got like food poisoning and got very sick.
Was that the first one or the second one?
That was the.
That was the
second one.
right?
Sorry, yes, that was the second one. Yeah, that was the second
so that
one we
would have
did.
been like 2015 or something.
Puked then, puked a few times from drinking here and there, but not very often. I mean, last time I puked from drinking, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a long time there too. Like, I mean, I've only puked a handful of times in my entire life from drinking. I mean, I know some people that, in your 20s, it's like, oh, it's a weekend, they're going to puke. You're like, some people puke every weekend, basically.
Yeah.
That wasn't me. I mean, I don't puke often. Like, I'm not a puker. And I don't think you are either, though, are you?
No, I am not a puker at all. Like, it takes so much for me. I was thinking about it. In the last 15 years, I've puked twice.
Twice? Like,
twice.
Like, even when you were sick, like, you puked once when you were sick? It wasn't multiple times?
Well, no.
There two occasions where there was puking involved. Okay.
Yeah, 2 occasions of puking.
Yeah.
And the one, we probably talked about it on here. I can't remember. I think I was sick, and then I took like antibiotics without eating.
Yeah,
first.
so it just isn't sitting right then. Yeah,
and it wasn't sitting right at all. And that was when I was in my old house. So I'm thinking that was in like 2019. That's the last time I puked, is in 2019. Maybe it was almost 2020, somewhere in there. That's the last time I puked. So it's been over 5 years, I think, knock on wood. And that one time prior to that, the only other time in the last 15 years, I believe, was my bachelor party. And that was from, I will just say, for the sake of the podcast, that was from excessive partying is the word I will use to describe it. But it was from excessive partying at my bachelor party. I puked from that as well.
Yeah.
I partied a little too hard, I'll say, and that resulted in puking. But that's what the bachelor party is for.
It was a wild time.
Yeah. Outside of those two individual events, I do not think I've thrown up. And throwing up, much like what you described, is a wildly violent experience for me.
God.
So it's really good. It comes around about once or twice a decade, because if it was as frequent as it was for some other people, I don't know how I would continue to go on.
No, it just ruins everything.
And I'm not saying it's like the dad cold thing where I'm like, oh, puking. I'm like, no, same. When I puked in 2019, my family like left the house because it was horrific. It was horrible.
I'm saying I relate. Yeah, I if I had to guess, it's probably maybe 5 or 6 times since I've been like 21-ish in my life that I've puked.
So we've both got pretty good streaks going then.
Yeah. I'm right now on a bit of a heater. Yeah.
We're both kind of on a hot streak. Let us know in the YouTube comments, how long has it been since you've puked? I want to see who is the longest and who also listening is the most frequent, who's like, I puked yesterday. Or like,
I did it.
Or let us know, like, has anyone not puked in the last, have you beat us over 5 years? Has anyone made it 10 years
10
or
years?
more?
Yeah, 10 years. I feel like 10 years is a long time to go without puking. That's
10
a pretty
years
good
is
streak.
a pretty sweet streak. I think I got a real chance of getting there. I'm feeling real confident about my future.
That's how puking works, though, is you think you're going fine, and then
That's what it's always when you least expect it, isn't it?
You get blindsided with something. Yeah.
You ever brush your teeth like or like your tongue like a little too far and just get like a little gag reflex?
I know what you're talking about. No, I haven't had really issues with that. No.
Yeah, that's happened to me as well. But no puking. I'm always very like, nope. I have to stop there. I've got a streak to maintain. speaking of our YouTube channel, the video that posted this last week, was that just Dr.
God.
Tatty Waffles
Yeah,
already?
that was
seems
just
it's
like 4 or 5 days ago, actually.
a real banger of a gym tour. If you haven't watched the Dr. Tatty Waffles gym tour, check it out. It's got like 15,000 views or something on it at this point in time. And so much positive feedback from the existing community, and then also people watching it that probably aren't normally consumers of all the Massenomics content, and just a lot of positive comments about his gym, his setup, his approach to the home gym life and training life. And Dr. Tatty Waffles, excellent home gym, really fun tour. I would really recommend checking that tour out. And that being said, by the time this episode comes out, the one that will be published is the Kurt Locker gym tour, correct? Is that the next on the schedule?
I believe so.
So say everything I said about Doc Tatwaffs, I would say the same about the Kurt Locker. Should be another really cool gym tour. From what this is Benno.
It's been a while.
It's been a while since we've recorded this, actually, so I'm just going off of memory and I haven't watched anything, but we go into some really intricate detail on some of Kurt's stuff in his home gym and his storage solutions and barbells and everything he's got going on there.
Some of these are getting now just so long ago that it is like watching them for the first time. So I'm very curious now to see what some of these were like.
Yeah. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel for now. We're getting very close to 10,000 subscribers. We're both excited about hitting 10,000 subscribers. I'm not even just, sometimes we just talk about being excited about it and we're not actually that excited about it. The 10,000 subscribers is a big milestone for us on YouTube. We've really been working hard on YouTube, so
it does feel like a real milestone.
It does feel like a milestone. We're excited to get over that mark. The YouTube for us, I'm sure we'll talk about this more at some point in time when we're just like recapping things or giving a Massenomics State of the Union. But YouTube continues to become a larger and larger part of Massenomics in general and our vision for the future.
Our future of home gym machines.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If said it before, I'll say it again. If we don't have the most gym tour videos on YouTube yet, we're going to soon. We're very close, I believe, to having the most. What I do know for sure is that ours are the best. Nobody puts out as good and as consistent and as frequent and as quality of gym tours as the Massenomics YouTube channel.
And that's just a fact.
That's just a fact. Anything else this week, or should we bring this bird down? Should we land this condor?
Yeah, we can probably land this thing.
Let's bring it on in for a landing. Before we get to all that, I mean, we actually talked quite a bit about Juggernaut, juggernautai.app. Just to spell this part out specifically, it's the training that Tommy and I are both using now. Actually, next week we should really talk more about training. We didn't talk about it much this week. Next week we should make sure to talk more about our training, what we're each doing there. But what I'll tell you is we're both using Juggernaut. You can use it too by going to juggernautai.app. We do have a discount code. It's Massenomics. Use discount code Massenomics on the website, on the web browser. Saves you 10%. It makes that membership about $30 a month. And I think it's very worth it. You know, in comparison, we've talked about comparing to like paying for a coach or whatever else you do. I'm not telling you this as a sales pitch. If you've never tried an app or anything like that before, the $30 a month, if you're worried about that, just try it for a couple months. Use discount code Massenomics, get it down to the $30-ish and try it for a few months. So you maybe got $60 into it by trying it for 2 months. And I'm fairly confident you'll enjoy it. If not, you're not out much, but if you do try it, you'll probably be using it for a lot longer and you'll say this $30 is very worth it. juggernautai.app.
And this episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Right now, I'm not sure if this is the case by the time you're hearing this, but right now, Texas Power Bars is running a flash sale with up to $75 off select bars. We're talking bars like the Texas Bodybuilding Bar, the Monster Squat Bar, the Bench Bar. What else do we got here? We got Blemish Texas Power Bars. Get a Blemish Texas Power Bar for $270. I mean, come on, that's a deal right there. If you don't want any, 29 millimeter Texas Power Bar, Blemish $280. Great deal. You don't want any of those. You can, of course, get all the classics like the original Texas Power Bar, the 29mm Texas Power Bar, the Texas Deadlift Bar, Texas Squat Bar, all those variety of colors, finishes, coating options. You can't go wrong. You should have at least one of these in your gym, probably 2 or 3. Head on over to TexasPowerBars.com and buy one. Thank you, Texas Power Bars.
I love this bar. That's what I say every time I see one of them things. I'd have to add that to the soundboard. YouTube video. Check it out. Subscribe. Leave us a comment right here. If you've made it this far into the podcast, drop us a comment on YouTube and tell us what kind of thing would we want them to tell us about that signifies that we know for sure. Last week it was something about wool in your hair, and got a lot of real good comments about you having wool in your hair.
Well, you already asked people about puking.
Oh, yeah. Tell us something about puking. We got to hear about puking. Use the puke emoji. Yeah. What's your streak? Definitely
what
give us.
What sets you off?
Yeah. What trips your trigger in the puke game? What's your streak? We'll do some puke analysis. We'll gather that data and come back with some anecdotal evidence next week on the puking. Go to Massenomics.com, our shop. We got a bunch of stuff for sale. We've been slinging things out of here for months now, for years now.
Is inventory looking kind of low in there right now?
It is. We've been sales have been good. Like another just like tiny peek behind the curtain is, I think, in part between YouTube going so well and for us also just probably putting out good stuff, I think is part of it. We've been selling quite a bit of stuff. We do currently right now, we have some certified training facility packages, not that many of them. We do have a decent supply of horse stall mat coasters, but I don't know. We don't know if we'll restock those after we sell out this batch. So if you want a horse stall mat coaster set, this could kind of be your last chance on that.
They're labor intensive.
Same, I would say, about the Drink Spot or Chill. The ordering process on these is not super quick and easy. So when this batch sells out, I don't know. I'm not positive what this would, the existence of this after this run. It sold really well, which is awesome. But if you don't have one of these, get one. It basically will replace every koozie you have now. Tees, look around. Some tees we got good sizing on. Some are really getting down there. So, and people always want to know, like, well, when are you going to restock this tee in this size? Most of the time, the answer is we're not restocking it. Like there's very few tees that we just keep around like forever.
Yeah.
So
you could wait forever, or you might wait a few years on certain ones if you're unsure.
Right. So the time to buy something is when we have it, and if that's right now, then buy it now, because don't bank on us restocking really anything in a particular size. What else has been popping off? We're gonna get some restocks coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully the Silly Goose Barbell Club flag, which we've been having some people wanting the restock on that. We're gonna have that soon, and hopefully the Home Gym Nerd Tee that sold really, really, really well in that first run, and is very few sizes and quantities remaining on that. So be on the lookout for a restock of that coming soon. Then we've got a bunch of cool stuff coming for the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic. We'll talk more about that as we get couple more weeks down the road for our July 19th Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic. That's it, I think. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Bear. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.